I did all that? It like doesn't seem real.
Some actors haunt the screen, not in the ghostly sense, but in the way their presence crawls under your skin and sets up residence.
I think she said something like, it was the first time in a room I've been genuinely hurt by an audition.
Sometimes you get parts and you're just like, I just know how to do this.
They're the kind of actors who can say more with a glance than most can with an entire monologue. There's something permanently coiled in their performances, a quiet, a simmering tension that suggests the dam might break at any moment, and when it does, it won't be loud. It'll be surgical, final. That's the brand of Michael Shannon. Not chaos, but a terrifying, deliberate control.
You really believe that? You think God will come down and save you?
And nowhere does that tension manifest more chillingly than in his portrayal of Richard Kuklinski in The Iceman.
I need to work, Roy. I'm good at what I do.
A man who murdered for decades while living a parallel life as a husband and father. Kuklinski didn't wear his evil on his sleeve. Shannon doesn't play him as a monster. That would have been easy.
Think you're different than me, huh?
I don't have to think about it.
Instead, he plays him as a man so compartmentalized, so numb,
I'm not looking for forgiveness. I'm not repenting.
that violence becomes as mundane as brushing his teeth. What makes Shannon's Kuklinski stand out isn't his capacity for violence, but the sheer normalcy of it.
Are you nuts?
Gotta keep my reputation.
From the moment he's introduced, there's an unmistakable coldness in his eyes, like someone permanently observing the world from behind glass. But it's not just the stare, it's his movements. Shannon plays Kuklinski like a man with zero wasted energy. Every gesture is purposeful. No fidgeting, no bluff.
I didn't say you didn't have a good reason. I said the date.
He walks into a room like he's already decided how it ends. The terrifying part, he doesn't look like he enjoys it. He looks like he's just doing what needs to be done.
I just lost my temper, so what?
That's the emotional core of the character. Kuklinski isn't unhinged, he's methodical, calculated. Killing isn't a release for him, it's a routine. That lack of emotional punctuation makes it even more disturbing.
Well, you're gonna feel something for somebody.
Shannon strips away the cinematic flair that we've come to expect from movie killers. No catchphrases, no outbursts, just silence and execution. The most interesting, and frankly, the most disturbing aspect of Shannon's Kuklinski is how he lives into realities without flinching. There's the domestic Kuklinski, husband, father, provider.
You think I'm a spoiled brat.
You like to be taken care of. There's nothing wrong with that.
And then there's the executioner, ice-hearted and detached.
Pray to God. Tell him to come down and stop me.
What Shannon does so brilliantly is refuse to treat those identities as separate. He doesn't switch between them. He simply carries both at all times. He can tuck in his daughters at one moment and strangle a man with piano wire the next, and neither action seems to affect the other.
Yeah, hey, don't you do that.
It's not sociopathy played for shock value. It's more of a focus on moral erosion. Over time, Kuklinski's humanity doesn't vanish, it just gets quieter. You see it in the way he looks at his wife. There's love there, but it's not soft or sentimental, it's transactional.
We got too much good here for you to be acting this way.
Protective, almost possessive. Shannon makes you believe that Kuklinski would kill for his family.
You and the girls. That is all I care about.
But you're not entirely sure if that's because he loves them or because they're his. And when cracks finally begin to show, Shannon doesn't go big, he doesn't melt down, he implodes. His face tightens, his hands shake for a second too long. The mask slips in inches, not feet. That kind of restraint is rare.
Leo, I just want to go home. I just want my money.
Most actors would swing for the fences. Most portrayals of contract killers in film fall into two buckets: tortured anti-heroes or flamboyant sociopaths. Shannon's Kuklinski is neither. He's the office worker of death. The man treats murder like paperwork.
You take care of the details, I do the hit. We split 50-50.
His kills aren't poetic, they're procedural. The camera often lingers after the act, forcing us to sit in the aftermath. There's a strange, inverted intimacy to it.
It looks like a heart attack. It is.
We're not watching a man end lives, we're watching a man whose own life has been hollowed out by repetition.
Who was that?
I had nobody.
There's no thrill in the kills, no adrenaline, just efficiency. And that's where the real horror lies. Because Shannon isn't just playing a killer, he's playing a product. process.
You put this stuff in a mist, spray it in someone's face, they fall asleep.
He shows us what it looks like when morality is stripped from action. It becomes work, cold, exacting work.
We could kill two birds here with one stone.
Well, that's always a good idea.
Part of what makes Shannon's performance stick with you is how ordinary Kuklinski feels. He's not a shadowy figure lurking in the alleyways. He's a guy in a polo shirt buying cereal for his kids, the neighbor who never causes trouble, the dad at the school play.
Poor sons of thinking their dad's a decent guy.
And yet, behind that bland exterior is a man capable of unimaginable brutality.
What about that boy? What was his name? Frank. Caved his head in with that shower pole.
Shannon leans into that contradiction without ever playing it for drama. There's a scene where Kuklinski is confronted in front of his family, and you can see in the microseconds before he reacts that he calculates every possible outcome.
Roy wants to see you.
I don't give a shit. Get lost.
Not emotionally, but strategically.
Do you mind moving down the block? My daughter's birthday's going on in there.
That's what defines him. He's not led by impulse, he's governed by contingency plans. And Shannon sells that. Every twitch of the eye feels like a choice. Every hesitation is a page being flipped in Kuklinski's internal playbook.
What, are you praying?
God, please! Please!
What makes it even more disturbing is the faint possibility that Kuklinski might have actually believed he was a good man. Shannon never gives us an answer, he just lets that ambiguity hang in the air, heavy and unresolved.
I never felt sorry for anything I'd done other than hurting my family.
There's also a deeper question that Shannon keeps dangling in front of us. Did Kuklinski compartmentalize to survive, or because that was just his nature?
Mr. Kuklinski, please rise.
The film never answers that, but Shannon plays every scene like a man aware of the question.
You see the Iceman crying? Not very macho.
He holds it behind his eyes. His performance suggests a man who never figured himself out but learned to function anyway. That may be the most unsettling idea of all, that evil doesn't always come with self-awareness. Sometimes it just follows instructions.
But I hurt people that mean everything to me.
Even the way Shannon handles physical violence is different. His body language doesn't explode, it contracts. He kills like someone completing a chore, but the moments before are where Shannon layers meaning. A breath or a pause, a glance to the side.
Your future wife you're talking about.
I guess, if he's desperate enough.
These are cracks where the truth leaks in. Not remorse, but recognition. A flicker of knowing this will never end well. And it's in those silences that Shannon says the most. When Kuklinski stares into nothing, you feel the static behind his eyes. A man who used to feel things but learned to mute the signal.
This would never be me.
You wonder if he's thinking about his kids or his next job, or if there's even a difference anymore. Shannon's Kuklinski is less a character and more a consequence.
My whole family's there.
Maybe I should go and say happy birthday to her.
The logical endpoint of emotional repression, institutional violence, and moral fatigue.
Who are you kidding? You're gonna end up just like me right here.
And he plays it like a man who's already dead.
What do you want?
Just moving around out of habit. There's no redemption arc. It's easy to praise Michael Shannon for intensity, but in The Iceman, what he delivers is something much harder. Consistency.
Look, you're good at what you do. Okay, don't f it up any more than you already have.
He plays Kuklinski as a man who has trained himself not to feel too much, not to want too much, not to need anything outside of order and silence. And that's the brilliance of it. The absence is the performance. He doesn't fill the room with rage. He sucks the air out of it. Every scene feels like a countdown, and you never know what happens when the clock hits 0, but you know it won't be loud, it'll be final.
I think God's busy.
In a genre full of men who kill for pleasure, revenge, or ideology, Shannon gives us something colder. A man who kills because it's what he's good at, because it keeps the machine running, because silence is easier than confession. Michael Shannon didn't just play Richard Kuklinski, he understood him, and by the end of The Iceman, you realize something truly unsettling. Shannon made you understand him too.